Conditioning didn't seem like an issue with Errol Spence. Stamina didn't seem like an issue with Errol Spence. His own coach, trainer, Derek James, stated that he didn't even think him being weight trained was the issue. Could that be a cover up? Could that be him not trying to make excuses because he knows that the public is going to attack him? Because he knows that the Crawford fans in particular are going to give him a ton of backlash and say that he just can't accept that his boy lost. Victor Conte is a master illusionist, a master of deception. Don't you know how when, let's say, a bank robber or somebody like a criminal gets caught for doing something wrong, and when the police catch him, they say freeze, and then it pauses and stops the criminal in the act. But all the criminal need is just a quick second to turn your attention away in another direction. And Victor Conte points his finger in a different direction and say, hey, there goes a giraffe. And the police and everybody in the building, they turn their heads around to look for a giraffe. But there's really no giraffe there. And then Victor Conte just escapes. He runs away real fast, just enough to turn your attention one way and then fly out the vicinity. That's what Victor Conte just pulled, to turn your attention away so he can bail out real quick, so he can leave. Because while everybody is so focused now on the altitude and Spence going and run up in the mountains, it has distracted you from the fact that Terence Crawford is taking things at Snac that nobody else is taking. The fact that Terence Crawford didn't feel none of Errol Spence punches and every other fighter did. I don't care how many mountains he ran. I don't care how many mountains he ran up. And then at first we were making excuses saying that Errol Spence didn't, it wasn't nothing wrong with Errol Spence. Now it was something wrong with Errol Spence. Which one is it? Well, first and foremost, I have to give much credit to manager Marty. The way he conducted the interview, he stayed professional the entire time. And I also got to give a shout out and a salute to Ross Media, the boxing outlet. I got to give bruh a lot of credit because both of them, they were the main ones out of all the bigger YouTube platforms, the other content creators, the boxing channels. They was on the front lines. The difference, their approaches was different. Ross was cooking Crawford every day. He made it a point that he was going to get up every morning and slaughter Terence Crawford. No matter what his fans said, no matter how negative his fans is, because I know that has to be kind of mentally draining because every day these fans are coming to attack you, and I'm pretty sure they probably hit up his inbox. So much props to manager Marty and to Ross. Manager Marty, his stance haven't changed. He said that the Snac program works. That's for one. For two, a lot of Crawford fans want to know manager Marty's affiliation. They want to know who he's tied to, and they want to know who he's managing. The reason they want to know who he's managing is because then they can use that as a weapon. They can weaponize him with it. They can use that against him. For example, whoever he was managing didn't work out. So now he's a failed manager on YouTube giving his opinion. How can we take his advice as credible? Or how can we believe anything he say? They're going to try to use that against him. That's all. That's why people are so eager to know who he's managing. Because if it was anybody else, you don't care about who else managing who. It don't matter to y'all. It really doesn't. But that's why y'all want to know so bad. So y'all can use that against him. So I'm happy that he's not even telling nobody. But Victor Conte is a master illusionist. He wants to distract you from what was the true issues at hand. When it came to Errol Spence, right? You've never seen Errol Spence on a retreat. You never seen Errol Spence hesitant to come forward. When have you ever seen Errol Spence just stand there not throwing punches? It seems that Crawford power shots affected him the most, more than anything. Being lethargic, being tired, weight drained, that didn't seem to me to be the issue. To me, what was the issue was the way Crawford was punching. That's what I believe. Throughout all of Errol Spence's fight, Errol Spence, to me, when he worked with Blu-ray, you notice Errol Spence, he looked almost like an action figure. I'm talking about muscle, his tone. He looked like a true, like he looked like he's in really great shape. So he didn't look as in bad shape. He just didn't look like he did when he was working with Blu-ray. Him looking weak in the knees like SWV didn't seem like it was a problem. What was the problem was Terence Crawford throwing bombs, not punching like the normal Terence Crawford. Just a little bit smaller, but you could still see that he was putting the work in. So I don't think that stamina was the issue. To me, what was the issue was Terence Crawford's power. That's what stood out to me the most. And the main thing that manager Marty asked him was, if you had all these knockouts and you had all this success before you joined the Snac program, then why go over there? And then someone pointed out how he said, in one breath, he said, well, sponsorship, endorsements. Then he turned around and said that the money that they got to give him. So which one is it? Are they giving you money or are you giving the money? See, what happened was Tank has much of a louder voice than manager Marty and Ross. These two were like the faces of calling out Snac. And now with Tank and his voice, it has drawn so much attention that now Victor Conte can no longer be silent. You know, he has to come out and defend himself. It's too much criticism. It's too much negative energy. To me, what I seen is just my own observation. Victor Conte looks like he's stressing. And I don't know if that has to do with old age, but he looked like he's stressing to me. Bald head, gray, he like he going through it. And Victor Conte, they can't hide it no more. The power was what, to me, is what got to Errol Spence. You never see Errol Spence in no fight just stand there. It's one thing to not rush in because, as Andre Berto stated when he was fighting Floyd Mayweather, I can't just rush in because he packing the punch that I can't just run in there. But even Andre Berto towards that fight, he still was coming forward. That didn't prevent him from keep coming forward. Errol Spence would literally just stand there, right there in front of him. When you go back and you watch the fight as Terence Crawford was hitting Errol Spence with just a jab, was snapping his neck back, snapping his head back. You seen blood, spit, sweat, combination of all three just flying up in the air. See Errol Spence's neck going back from a jab. That to me what stood out the most. Now everybody that Errol Spence faced said they felt his power. It would have been more believable, right? If Terence Crawford went like, man, that motherfucker can hit. I don't care what nobody tell you. You know, it take a true motherfucker like me, somebody with a strong chin, somebody who could take a hard shot like me. Like, man, that motherfucker can crack. He could crack, but, you know, I took it really well. I took it extremely well. Even Floyd Mayweather had to give it up to Manny Pacquiao. Some of the biggest head, he's like, man, that motherfucker could crack. He could crack. He pack a cool punch. But, you know, I done got through everything. Now, I don't know if that's just Terence Crawford had so much ego that it won't allow him to give someone else credit. But to me, that's an eyebrow raiser. The fact that Errol Spence then hit people that said the man hit like a middleweight. He hits like a middleweight. They said the jab is so crazy. Like, he was like, man, it's like a powerful jab. Just keep stabbing, just keep hitting at you. And none of that seemed to affect Terence Crawford whatsoever. Something ain't adding up, in my opinion. And Victor Conte knew that he had to come. I said everything that's happening, bro, is starting to happen gradually. And the timing of this is so perfect because this is what I said will happen. This is what's being used to build the next fight. And that's why I believe his belt got stripped And what's going to tell everything, if Terence Crawford doesn't receive Fighter of the Year, they know something. They got to know something, to me, because he beat Errol Spence, one of the top fighters in the pound-for-pound list. So he got a great claim in terms of being pound-for-pound, fought Sean Porter. So he got a great case for being the Fighter of the Year. But to me, I think that there's some discussion there. There's some things going on behind the scenes. If he does not get the Fighter of the Year, they might know something. And that may be a reason why PBC isn't showing the results, the test results. Because Victor Conte says that PBC got the test results. You want to try to convince us that Balco was years ago. You're not giving the fighters undetectable steroids and so on and so forth. So Victor Conte going to say that we did testing weeks leading up to the fight. How we supposed to know that you couldn't get the steroids in and out the system leading up to that week of the fight? So we don't know what you're capable of. You're a mad scientist. The truth is starting to come out, and I think that PBC knows something. For Tank to say what he said, they know something. They know something. I don't think this is a coincidence that this is coming out. And with the fight, it seems close to proximity and it's about to happen. It's about to be an announcement. I don't know if it's in the next couple weeks or the next couple months. But we should know something. But Errol Spence, I don't think that being weight drained, stamina, conditioning, I don't think that played a huge part. Him going up in the mountains, I think that did have something to do with it. Maybe a lot. But to me, the power, Terence Crawford power. And that's why I don't really want Errol Spence to get back in there. Because you can't trust that dude. Him retiring against a guy, his only loss would be to somebody that cheated him. So technically you undefeated. So that's why I say I think he should walk away, because at this point, bro, like, you got family, your mom, you done dominated the welterweight division for 7 years straight. 7 years. You beat the fighters. You done beat some of those fighters, no tune-ups. You done beat some of them fighters at their best. He dominated. And for the sake, just because we are fans and we love Errol Spence is still my favorite fighter, one of my favorite fighters to this day. Win, lose, or draw, still got him in my top 5. I'm going to always support him. And although we look at these fighters as they're just, superheroes or whatnot, these Marvel characters, but at the end of the day, they're human. Just like us, they're human. And you saying the way his mom was, that got to be I know that that's what they signed up for. But his mom, to put her through that, and a mother, the way she loves her son, she probably wanted to go down there, but she can't save her son. This man got his daughters there. His loved ones got to watch him take beatings like that. And Terence Crawford is not the type of person that's going to be like, oh, well, all eyes on me. I'm not going to use steroids, or allegedly, I'm not going to use the Snac program. I'm not going to do that because that's going to draw too much attention and there's too many eyes. No, Terence Crawford is the type of person that say, hey, listen, I'm going to get you before you get me. You ain't going to embarrass me in front of everybody. So if I got to cheat to do that, it is what it is. And I got to do it again. But I ain't going to let you get me. So Victor Conte is a racist, in my opinion. He's kind of getting rid of two birds at one time. And what I mean by that is, I can't say the K word on here, but he's getting rid of 2 birds in 1 stone, right? This is why I say he's racist. And this is just my opinion. You never really see Victor Conte working with any other races. You just see him working with black fighters and Mexican fighters. The black fighters are beating the living crap out of each other. So he's getting an enjoyment out of it, of the black fighter destroying the other black fighter. And these are humans. And these guys' records are tarnished. They got asterisk by their records. So when they go down in the history books, they can't get in the Hall of Fame. That's for 1. And then for 2, their legacy is destroyed. So it doesn't do nothing but prop up these white fighters, these white athletes, keep their legacy going. It destroys black fighters' legacy. And then on the back end, let's say hypothetically a Terence Crawford, Marion Jones, eventually they feel guilt and then they admit what they did wrong. So then the embarrassment hit again. On one hand, you got a thrill and enjoyment out of this fighter getting destroyed and get beat, publicly embarrassed by everybody, laughed at, blood, everything. Almost like a slave master beating a slave. And then on the other hand, this person is embarrassed in the long run because every record, everything they accomplish has an asterisk by it.